The holiday season finds many local residents volunteering at toy drives and food pantries. But on this episode, we're sharing the stories of 3 volunteers whose uncommon giving will be felt well into 2026. We begin with Mr. Gary Rosenbaum and the LifeLink Foundation. On December the 25th, 2025, Gary marked the 10-year anniversary of his heart transplant. Gary helps raise awareness of organ donor registry anywhere and everywhere that he can, even competing in the World Transplant Games in Australia 2 years ago. We welcome to the studio Gary, along with Sherry Day, who is the Public Affairs Manager of the LifeLink Foundation. Thank you so much for coming in. Gary, you received your transplant in Philadelphia.
Correct. Moved
with your wife to Venice, Florida. And instead of just forgetting about everything, you connected with the LifeLink Foundation.
Correct.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah. I was so blessed to have gotten a transplant, a heart transplant, and I felt I had to give something back and to honor my donor. And volunteering for LifeLink was one of the things I could do.
And you do so many things as a volunteer. You do public speaking. You also help explain to doctors and health professionals how this works. Share some of that with us, and what's your favorite part about being such a champion for the donor registry?
Yeah, LifeLink has given me the opportunity to speak to nurses in the not the operating room, but in the emergency room. Get to talk to doctors that are there as well, nurses symposiums, just various venues, even going out to man tables for events to get people to sign up for organ donation. And it's just a lot of opportunities. And with the activities I'm involved with, it just put a face on an organ donation.
I love the fact that you are such a great example of someone who is an organ recipient who is incredibly active. You said that a lot of folks assume that when you receive an organ transplant, you're going to lead a very sedentary life. That's certainly not your case.
Yeah. When they told me I needed a heart transplant, it was pretty scary. They prepped me for it and everything. I spent 65 days in the hospital waiting for a transplant. When I went in there, they told me it was a need for 6,000 heart transplants a year in the U.S. and only about 3,000 people get them. So I was fortunate that I was one of those 3,000 people. And when I was waiting in the hospital, had a lot of time to think about, was I going to get a heart? My donor's family, they're going to lose a person. In my case, they were losing somebody on Christmas Eve. So it gave me a lot to think about, but my main thought was, what am I going to do if I do get that heart? I was fortunate enough that I had a person come into my room while I was waiting, and she was wearing a Team USA track uniform. And she mentioned to me about these World Transplant Games, and she even had a binder, and she was wearing these medals around her neck. And I said to her, she started talking about the games, and I said, well, it seems like it's a good idea, but I don't know if I'm going to come out of here. And she says, you got to stop thinking about that. You're going to get a heart, you're going to get healthy, you're going to train for it, and you're coming to the Transplant Games with me. And we've become very good friends over the years, and I've been to 3 World Games with her.
Sherry, this must be music to your ears to have someone like Gary really tell the story of organ donation in such a positive light.
Gary is a rock star. He's inspirational, I think, to everyone who meets him, and he is an example of someone who received a gift, and he continues to give a gift by telling the positive story of organ, eye, and tissue donation. So we're very grateful for him, for his life, for the life-saving gift that allowed him to be here, and for his commitment to helping us further our mission.
One of the things that you've taught me in preparation for this interview is the importance of the frontline organizations, the Division of Motor Vehicles, the tax collector's office. This is a lot of times the only place where a person can get that question. They think it's the only place where they can get the question of whether or not they want to be on the organ donor registry. How can LifeLink Foundation really mitigate that so that you are reaching more people? What is it that you all are doing?
So we have a huge public education effort in the 15 counties that we serve, and you're absolutely right. 99.4, maybe 5% of people who sign up to be organ donors sign up when they get or renew their driver's licenses.
Yes.
But there's a massive effort to reach more people. You can sign up on your health app on your iPhone. If you have MyChart at your doctor's office, you can sign up on your MyChart through your patient portal. You can also sign up at mystorycontinues.com. That's our website, mystorycontinues.com. People can sign up there. So there are many places people can sign up, and we need every name on that registry to help the more than 107,000 people nationally who are waiting.
So many people think of the organ donor registry as something that is associated with death. And you have said that there are organs that can be donated where the donor is still very much alive and well. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So there's some exciting things happening in the world of transplantation and things people need to think about. The organ that's most in demand is the kidney. Most people have 2 kidneys and you only need 1. And so a person could be a living donor and donate a kidney. They could also donate a lobe of the lung, or they could donate a portion of their liver. The liver is the only organ that regenerates itself. So there are many things people can do. And a really exciting one is mothers can donate their birth tissue. So things to think about. We're happy to give all of the information people want to know how they can be living donors, because you don't have to pass away to donate. And it would really help get the numbers down on the waiting list if people who can donate do so while they're alive.
Gary, your message to the viewer out there who's listening and not quite sure whether or not they want to be on that organ donor registry, what do you say to them?
It's the best gift you can give in your lifespan. It's a mitzvah, using a Jewish term. It's probably the best thing you can do in your life. And I wouldn't be here if somebody wasn't willing to be an organ donor for me. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah. I also, I do mentor quite a few people to get my story out. After I went to my first transplant games, the local newspaper, Herald Tribune, wrote an article about me. And based on that article, I received a note card in the mail from a gentleman. And the note card says, "I'm in need of a heart transplant. I need to talk to you." So he had his business card in there. I gave him a call, spoke to him, and this was during COVID, so I couldn't meet with him in person. And he was telling me his history, and it was a genetic defect, and it ran in his family. And he was kind of nervous about, proceeding with it. He didn't know what life would be like after the transplant. And he read the article about me competing in these transplant games as a cyclist and as a runner. And he's telling me the story where he was a Division I lacrosse player in college. And I said, if you get that heart, you'll be as active as I am. So we've become good friends now. He's gone to 1 U.S. transplant games, and we hope to compete together at the games coming up in Denver this summer.
Well, thank you for all that you do to help raise awareness. We want to make sure we make it as easy as possible for viewers to know what steps to take, how easy it is, and also to meet some of the other stories of some of the other heroes like Gary. To learn more about the registry, you can visit mystorycontinues.com. We'll be back right after this.